Right. All right. Good morning, Zoom community. My name is Wendy Henricks. I'm with Alexander's Aesthetics in the Colorado location. We have two locations, one in California, one in Colorado. This is our second of a series with our business coach, Steve Gomez. If you guys know Steve, here he is. He has been our business coach. My mom runs the California office and I run the Colorado office, and he has been coaching us for the last 9 to 10 months.
Yeah.
And the work that we've done has just been very transformative for us on two ways. One is very practical ways in looking at our data, but the second way is changing our mindset and really looking at things from a different lens. And because of some things going on in the industry and things that we're hearing from our customers, Steve has offered to pass some of this knowledge on to our customers, and we're just so grateful for that. So thank you, Steve, for that. Really
My
appreciate it. I
my
don't want to
honor.
take all the time talking about you, so I'm going to pass it over to you. But
Perfect.
real quick, just a few items. We are going to be using the chat feature for questions. If you can put your questions in there, that would be fantastic. Also, at the very end, we will, when you log off, there will be a survey. If you can please take that, it's very quick. That would be wonderful. And we are recording this, so it will be posted onto our YouTube channel once, probably by tomorrow. Usually it takes me about a day to get it up there, so you can rewatch it as well. We will be sending a link directly out to everyone as well.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Steve. I'm going to pop off and let you do your thing.
Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Good morning and happy Monday to all of you. I'm Steve Gomez. I'm a business coach and trainer in the beauty and wellness industry. I've been doing this now for 32 years. I'm a two-time author. I've written a book called Financial Fitness, Systems to Increase Profitability. And I also wrote a book called Interdependent Leadership, Creating a Culture of Inclusive Growth. My belief is that the more data-driven we are, the more facts we have in front of us, the more we're managing based on truth instead of opinion, and the more we can pivot out of emotion and reaction into into being more analytical and thoughtful and proactive in how we run our business. I've coached over 700 salons, spas, and clinics all over the United States and Canada. I travel as an educator all over the world. We just got back from a 12-day tour up to Toronto, to Chicago, to Brooklyn, Long Island, and back. And we head out to Europe this coming Saturday for the next 3 weeks. We go all over the place. Our commitment is to really help you grow your business and scale things the right way, and have you look at lessons along the way so that what you're replicating is perceptions, systems, and behaviors that help you continue to grow. With that as a backdrop, I'll echo something that Wendy said. You know, we were kicking the can around and really talking about how can all of us as leaders in our community, and yes, that's you, you are a leader in your community. How can all of us meet the moment that we're all navigating out here? There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that could throw us off base. And my message that I stand up on my soapbox and shout out to all of us in the industry is that while it's important to understand what's going on outside of our four walls, the way we must meet the moment is to focus on what's going on in our four walls, inside of our businesses, and to focus on what we can control. And the first place where we start with focusing on what we can control is to shift our thinking. So to me, the genesis of a brand identity and a brand message, and the way that you must market your business to increase cash flow, drive more client traffic, make more money, and be more profitable, begins with you understanding and reconnecting with your why, and also remembering that it's in times like this where there's economic uncertainty and things just kind of going on all over the place, that we can either allow that to drive us, or we can remember that as an industry, we are perfectly placed to help our guests to navigate how they feel and where they are. And how do you ensure that in their mind's eye, because what is your brand message? Your brand is when somebody thinks about skincare and thinks about this part of the beauty business, this industry, when they think about skincare, they think about you. That is your brand message, that you are capturing the mind share of your guests in your community. So much so that you are indispensable and they are unwilling to cut you as an expense because they don't see you as an expense. They see you as an utter necessity. So, what you have to ask yourself is, are you languaging your business in that way? And most importantly, in energy, spirit, and empowerment, are you being that leader in your community? That's the launch point, everybody. I can give you tips, tricks, and techniques to put the word out there, but you must be leaning into this moment and reminding people that, look, one thing is for certain in this day and age, you can come into this spa, into this clinic, and we're going to close that door and we're going to leave outside. And you're going to get into this treatment room and you're going to get on that table and we are going to serve you. We are going to heal you. You are going to immerse yourself in an aesthetic and in a treatment that is going to serve you and make you feel amazing and allow you to redirect your energy, let go, and recharge your soul while doing something that's vital, healthy, and necessary in your life. Any other messaging, any other conversation other than those things, we're not on brand and we need to be on brand. Yes, talk to people about, hey, how's your kid? How's this? How's that? Blah, blah, blah. You have relationships. But now is the moment and the time to lead. Now is the moment and the time to allow people to let go and to remind them of who you are. If you serve 5 people a week, that means you serve 20 people a month in your community. If you serve 10 people a week, you serve 40 people in your community. If you have other estheticians and artists that work with you, then count all those guests on a weekly basis that are coming into that business, that they are there to be served and healed by you guys. So now it's time to step up and lean in. If guests are coming a bit more infrequently, if they're spreading out visits, if you're seeing a little bit of a less trickle of new guest acquisition, you can either look at those things and it can strike fear and anxiety, or you can look at them and say, that's a puzzle we need to solve. How are we going to step up? How are we going to meet the moment? How are we going to get after that? And how are we going to shift that? Internally through education, externally through embodying education in our message, so that people get what we're there to provide. Not just a great aesthetic and a great place to let go, but also we're here to teach you. Those of you that were with me in our last webinar that we did last month, I opened with a mantra and I'm going to open again with the same mantra. So those of you that were here, you're going to hear it again. Those of you that are new to this conversation with me, I want you to write this down. Your mantra, your calling card, where you hang your hat every day when you walk in your business is this, in quotations. Here we go. Our commitment is that you learn more about your skin and its care than you ever have before. And if it's just you on your own as a solo practitioner, then you can take R to my. My commitment, our commitment, is that you learn more about your skin and its care than you ever have before. That's your calling card. Hang your hat there. Yes, I'm going to make you feel great and we're going to help you forget stuff. But most importantly, I'm here to provide a service. And part of that service is educating you on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how it's going to benefit your overarching skin care and its health. So when you say that to a guest, and then you educate that guest throughout the treatment or at the end of the treatment, you're creating a relevant bridge to them, for them to then continue to get what you provide and to continue to walk out with relevant at-home care so they can continue to maintain what you taught them. Now, give your guest control by allowing them to choose if they want to hear about what you want to educate them on throughout the treatment, or if they just want to cheese out, chill out, and then you summarize at the end. But either way, educate your guests and let them know that you're here to have them learn more than they ever have before and live in and step up into that. If you haven't watched that last webinar, please go and do that. I had 3 of my clients that I coach come on. We shared about memberships. We shared about my system called the booking game. All of that internal work to plan and prepare to blow a guest away, to be ready for them, and to make those relevant recommendations with confidence. And we got to work on the internal brand before we can work on the external brand. And you're going to learn that you have 2 of them. The internal brand is the people that work with you, or if you work by yourself, it's you partnering with Alexander Aesthetics and brands so that you're bringing quality products and treatments into your community. So partnering with them from the inside to strengthen what you're doing. Anybody can throw a marketing promotion out on social media nowadays, and pictures and images are beautiful, then can invoke in my mind an experience that I'm going to have. But are you ready to back that up with world-class guest service by declaring to me, I'm going to learn more than I ever have about what I'm here for? How are you meeting the moment? So now that we've talked about shifting thinking and having you lean in and look at and step up your game, now let's talk about how we can drive that internal brand externally to really create a dynamic experience that has you retaining more people. So what am I going to get into today? All right, let's see if this works. There we go. How to strengthen that brand message. I think we're off and running. Maximizing your marketing budget and planning and executing promotions. One thing I want you to know, you guys, it's early out here on the West Coast. So old boy's drinking some coffee and I got to fill up in a couple of minutes so I can keep fueling my way through this conversation with you. So know that that's coming. Let's talk about something. Word of warning, you already have a brand, good or bad. If you don't actively define your brand as it is now, it will define you. So I invite you to take a very critical look at where you can improve your messaging. And when I say critical, I don't mean negative. Oh my gosh, I need to get better at this. Woe is me. Oh man, we suck at this and that, blah, blah, blah. Right? Save all that drama for mama, right? Where I want you to get critical is critical thinking. Okay, what's the strong part of our brand? Where are we delivering? And where can we improve? Where am I spending time or not spending enough time driving the brand? What are we doing and not doing enough of? What are we communicating, not communicating enough of? How do we continue to elevate? Always be putting on your critical thinking cap and in an empowered way. Your business doesn't care how you feel, everybody. Your business needs you to be looking at it and pivoting always. So look at your brand as it exists today and ask yourself how you can improve. Also, get your loyal customers involved, giving you ideas. Have them tell you what they love about your brand and how you can improve. That is critical information that can support you to really grow and move the dial. I see something in the chat, Wendy, if you want to tell me what that is. I'm going to pivot into talking about something else, but I do see somebody popped in on the chat there.
Let me see. I just put in your commitment.
Oh, okay,
That's what I
cool.
wrote in.
Okay, cool. That was you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we going to increase our marketing effectiveness? Elevating our brand deliverables, adhering to a budget, analyzing our strategies, and planning and execution based on that. Let's dive in. So I want you guys to take a screenshot of this and you can come back as opposed to scribbling all the questions down fast. Just get your phones out, take a picture of this. If you're on your phone watching this, then take a moment and write these questions down. This is your homework for the week. I want you to look at and either define or redefine your brand as it exists today by asking yourself some questions. And these are some basic questions that might lead to other questions as you dig into each. What are we known for? What are we known for? I'd like to think that as a business coach and trainer in this industry, I'm known as, and people reach out to me because of what I teach from a financial point of view. My ability to analyze data, get it organized into industry specific fashion, and help you really look at what your business is communicating to you so that you can pivot based on what the business is saying it needs. I think I'm also known for being a straight shooter. I'm also known for having fun and being a dork too. Hey, you gotta have fun while you do it. What do your customers think about you? What a great question. And again, this is a great jump off point for you to actually go find out what they think about you and ask them to be honest, not just give you praise, but to give you critical thinking. How can I be better at what I'm doing? So it starts with you actually asking yourself. If you have a team of people and you're listening to this, you doing the same thing, answering the questions yourself and bringing these questions to your team and creating meaningful and thoughtful dialogue. What message do you think you're sending? And then going out and asking and finding out how it's landing. What do you believe you can do better than your competitors? Are you accentuating that? Are you positioning that? How? And how can you improve that? And why should people buy from you? Why should they get treatments with you? Why should they take at-home care? What is the difference that you're making that that you should be shouting from the rooftops? What solutions do you have to issues that people face? Because when your messaging is all about the solutions that you have to issues that people face, you're leveling the playing field and constantly reinforcing your why. You talking about how much you love doing skincare is great, but you sharing with me the solutions that your skincare and your approach is going to provide me, that's your jump off point. That'll get me to your website and I'll read your bio later. But I want to know solutions first, especially in this digital age where we're just being bombarded with information all the time. I want to know more about your solutions first. That's going to guide me into then check you out and find out more about you. All right, so I'm going to pivot from this and we're going to talk about three main parts to brand building: the promise, the expectation, and the execution of your brand. Let's get into the promise. Again, you're more than welcome to take a picture of this stuff if you'd like. Okay, so your promise is what you want to make to potential and current customers about what they will experience when they do business with you. So, for example, when you do business with me, I'm going to I'm not even going to engage anybody in coaching sessions until I analyze the business. I get data in front of me. I ask you tons of questions. I reflect on what you're sharing with me about where you are and where you want to be. And then I'm looking at what the data is saying about what the business needs and where we need to pivot. And then I'm interconnecting both of those things together and creating a path for you, right? That's my promise, right? Nobody's just going to jump in and play in the sandbox with me until we both walk critically around it. You're going to find me because you're looking to grow your business and you want to work with the coach and there's issues that you face that create anxiety for you. So my commitment is let's redirect that energy, that emotion into looking at what's existing and why, what we're doing that's strong and how can we accentuate that? What's the missing that if we added it would cause transformation for you and for the company? That's a path to go down. I spoke at a NASM Pro event last January, not this one, but now 2 Januaries back, or February, whatever, out here in Orange County, California. And that's where I met C and Wendy. And it was a 3.5 month conversation between the two sides of us here before we engaged each other in a meaningful relationship. That's been very rewarding for all sides. So you've got to think about what is that promise that you're making about what somebody's going to experience with you, right? It's not just the treatment, but it's how it's going to go. Tomorrow I'll be heading off to get a facial and my third round of PRP injections, third and final under the eyes. Oh, those aren't fun. But you know what? That little puffiness I'll have tomorrow during the day, that 5 minutes of weirdness and uncomfortability goes a long way. And I love the clinic that I go to and the really great vibe. I used to coach that company, such great relationships in that building. Love being there, love their aesthetic, love how relaxing they are, and they're always ready to serve and meet the moment. Can't wait to be there. That is them creating an experience that I dig, that I look forward to. Even though I'm not looking forward to the needles under the eyes, I'm definitely looking forward to the experience I'll have while being there with people I love being around and the results I'm going to have. What's your expectation, an emotion or feeling the promise brings up? Right? Mine was excitement, can't wait, like expectant, right? I love the warmth of it. I had broken my hand earlier in the year as at the turn of the year. So, I come out of the facial, they put numbing agent on my like right under my eyes. They have this beautiful relaxation room. I get to go sit in, put my seat up. They bring the red light and I get to put my hand underneath the red light. They bring me a tea. It's cool energy. I catch up with the owner I used to coach. I love that stuff, right? So you got to think about in your brand message, what type of imagery, what type of wording can you use that's going to evoke in my mind the experience I'm going to have. And that's going to make me want to walk in the door with you. So, what are some of those brand deliverables that make that happen? Where you can start using imagery and languaging. Well, I'm going to go through all of this from an imagery point of view, but point some of it out. Your logo and your design of it, your website, your business cards, everything you're putting out on social media, all of your marketing collateral, everything must align with creating that expectation. All of it. Everything must be uniform. Everything must really match up with and connect to the aesthetic and the vibe that you're creating. And of course, the brands that you partner with play a significant role in that. What makes Alexander's aesthetic so great is that the team is committed, whether you're visiting one of their locations in person, which is you're getting the best of both moments there, because you get to interact with really great, well-trained, committed, and passionate people, all of them estheticians, except the husbands, but they're great guys and they come from really cool backgrounds. But everybody's an esthetician. Everybody understands your needs. Everybody's committed to help. And they have great brands that you need and that you're choosing to partner with to help you grow. So all of these brand deliverables must be in line with your overarching vision of your business and the experience you're choosing to create. And all of this leads to the execution, how well your company performs against your promise. And this is where you asking your guests for critical feedback is going to be really, really meaningful. Your promise and the customer's expectation have to match the actual experience. So my recommendation is that you pull at least 10 of your top customers and let them know like, hey, I'm going to ask you for feedback about our company. And I know you've been coming to me for a long time, so I'm expecting you're going to share things that you love about us. And great, please do. But I also want your critical lens in our business. I value who you are. I value your opinion, and I want you to tell me how you believe we can be better. How can we continue to position ourselves in this marketplace that has us stand out for who we really are? You know we care. You know we have the best treatments. You know that we are bringing cutting edge scientific treatments and at-home care right here to your doorstep. How do we convey this? What do you believe we can do to capture the attention of people in our community in a more efficient and empowering way? Get your guests to share that information with you. you'd be surprised how quickly they'll jump in and help and how meaningful that can be. It reinforces the brand relationship with them, and it gives you good feedback to help you reinforce things that you're doing, continue to accentuate them, and also maybe pivot and try something new that you didn't see or think about your business that can help you improve. Here's one thing that you can do with a top customer. Years and years ago, I was hired by Fantastic Sam's, and I was this is a hair cutting company um, nationwide, and I was tasked with creating a front desk management system for the company that they then introduced company wide. And when I was writing that, I thought about, okay, what's happening like in their first 360 square feet, because that's every Fantastic Sam's, the front desk and the reception area, waiting area, it's all 360 square feet. So I was in a Fantastic Sam's one day years back, and I sat there and I just allowed my senses to go on a journey. And I invite you to do that with the top customer. Sit in your waiting area just like they would during business hours and say, okay, let's kick around the five senses. What do we see that has you get off of your smartphone, your iPhone, and engage the business, right? What type of languaging, what type of promotions, what type of wording, what type of visuals, or do you just have a bunch of junk mags there that is so, oh, okay, I put my phone down, but now I'm in a junk bag, right? What do I smell? Is it aromatherapeutic and relaxing? Um, what can I touch? Right? That's going to engage the business and the brand more. What am I hearing that puts me into the vibe that you want me to? What can I taste and how is that served? Isn't it a mug with your logo, right? What are those things that go a long way? Really looking at brand execution, especially in those first opening minutes when somebody is immersing themselves into your business. How are you bringing them in a way that is provocative and empowering and really makes a case for who you are and what you do? This is a great exercise for all of you to take on, especially with some loyal customers. Getting their direct feedback be really, really great. Once your execution is 100% in agreement with your website, every post, brochure, front desk associate, and technician's performance, then you are confidently delivering your brand message in a way, and your brand promise, I'm sorry, that inspires customer satisfaction and increases loyalty, everybody. Sorry, you're seeing me grab my little vanilla coffee creamers here. This is my little interlude of fixing myself my next cup of Joe, which I got right here. Always got to have a coffee pot in your office, everybody. And don't worry, it's next to the liquor cart. That's later in the afternoon. Got to have fun. Anyways, okay. Let me grab my spoon. Let's keep this going and let's move to the next slide. So, talked about elevating your brand deliverables. It's also critical that you adhere to a budget while doing it and that you're fiscally responsible for what you're creating in your business, everybody. So, when it comes to adhering to a budget, information is power. So, again, you're welcome to take a picture of this slide if you'd like to. Like Wendy said, this will be up on YouTube later today or tomorrow. You can come back and watch this again. So, when we're looking at this, the first thing I want you to get is that I want you to be in your money management abundant thinking. Most of us open a business and we're entrepreneurial. We open a business and we're willing to take that risk. We open a business and we're willing to invest. We're going to make the place pretty. We have a vision and we're going after it. But in school, you didn't learn about money management and creating a budget for your company. So you just go about opening and being as busy as you can in your treatment room, forsaking time to organize your business, to look at the data, to be empirically driven. So you've got to get financially organized. Number one. Number two, once you get financially organized and you have all the data in all the right places, and I'll be teaching about financial organization in upcoming webinars in the months ahead, it's very important for you to be abundant in your thinking, not expense driven in your thinking. Yes, manage the expenses, but what happens is most of us begin to worry about paying bills as opposed to getting away from that entrepreneurial thinking that got us to launch our own business to begin with. So, entrepreneurial thinking is how do we grow? How do we grow? How do we create more abundance for our guests, thereby creating more abundance for us? Why am I saying all of this? Because notice that marketing and advertising budget on the screen, 2% of total sales a month. I don't care if you're in the black or in the red. I want you investing every single month in growth. I can't tell you how many professionals I've seen over the 32 years I've been doing this where we forsake the marketing budget, and maybe we get to it when we can. That is not the way to go. I'd rather you forsake other things than to not invest constantly in growing the business. So you must always be marketing your company and minimally 2%. If you're in a positive cash flow, you can get more aggressive strategically and you can invest between 2 to 4%. For example, let's say you're going to do a holiday event, during the Christmas season, or maybe you do like a Christmas in July event. You do things like that. Or there's a community thing that you participate in once a year in your area, and you're going to invest a bit more money to really make a splash and make a big deal of it, and you want to go above and beyond. Okay. So then maybe you're spending 4% that month. Maybe you're taking money from your June marketing budget and applying it to the July marketing budget. So that way you have the funds there. Why? Because you're tracking it and you're organized. So we've got to get financially organized. That's what my book, Financial Fitness, and my webinars talk about. And that's how we help you learn and grow, everybody. So as we think about that, what you're seeing on the screen here is how to be fiscally responsible to manage your monies. So let's say that my total sales are $35,000 a month. My budget's 2% of that, which is $700. That means that my actual expense, I should be spending 700, but I'm spending 1,300 a month. So I'm at 3.7. That means I'm 1.7% over budget. I'm spending $600 a month more, which is $7,200 more a year. So if I'm in that situation, how do I maximize this expense and how do I improve performance from a marketing point of view? It's critical to be data driven, everybody. So go back over the first quarter of this year and look at what your total sales were as an average, and then multiply that by 2% to see what you could be spending. And if you haven't been spending that, begin to look at where you can redirect money, where you can cut in a way and redirect your resources, your money back into that. Here's one to look at: your inventory budget to restock your shelves of products that you're selling to your guests is 50%. So go back for the first quarter and look at your retail sales and your retail inventory purchasing. Divide the retail inventory into retail sales and see if you're at 50%. If not, your goal is to bring yourself back to 50%. We don't want you over budget. We don't want stuff collecting dust. We want it turning, right? We want it moving. So if you're over budget, let's say you're over budget by 10%, then take that money and begin to redirect it back into your marketing to be growing and driving retail, as opposed to continuing to overbuy with no relationship to a budget. So I'm getting nerdy and I'm talking about some data, but it's critical to your brand delivery so that you have the money to invest in your marketing and advertising. Now, also align yourself with different technology that can help you drive your brand messaging. I collaborate with a salon and spa software company called Forest, Phorest. And while they're a great point of sale system that can, help you manage your sales, to check a client in and out and take cash and do all that, and they manage your inventory, and you can integrate your QuickBooks profit and loss statement into it, all the bells and whistles that you would want from an industry specific software program. I've never seen a program that builds marketing right into the platform that helps you make money from the software like what they do. And they've collaborated recently with Meta so that when you're building a Facebook ad to promote a part of your business, instead of it just going generally out there to everybody that you choose in your area, Meta's looking at your top customers and who they are and what their spending habits are, and they're finding those people in your area. So the ads are going directly to those people. One of my clients, we were looking at the first quarter, and she spent $69 on an ad and got 2,500 clicks, and 2.1% then came over with more interest in the website. And from those 200, 41 people booked an appointment, and they brought in $5,125. That is beautiful marketing and investing your money in the right way. So software and technology, you guys, nowadays is critical for you to be investing in, because it's going to save you time, and let those experts create things that with clicks of buttons, you got everything going out in your messaging that you need. The key thing before I pivot and move on here, everybody, is that you are investing and you are focusing on driving your marketing. You're going backwards over the last 3 months to get your average sales trends, and what's 2% of that? What could I be spending? And let's go make that happen. Be abundant in your thinking first, expense minded second, not the other way around. Be growth minded, be growth minded, be growth minded, and be willing to invest in the technology that you can get your hands on, especially if you work alone. Then you're the cook, baker, and candlestick maker. You got to do everything. So it's even more incumbent upon you to be investing in technology that's going to make your life easy. Like anything else, you're going to spend to invest and get technology in, and then you're going to have to go through your learning curve to implement it and become an expert with it. So know that that's the path. But the long-term payoff is that what you're investing monthly pales in comparison to the return when you're using it the right way. For those of you that do have industry specific software, if it's just a glorified cash register for you right now, then you're missing the boat. So go on those platforms and take every tutorial that they have, immerse yourself in it, learn it, have those people come out and teach you so that you can be leveraging those platforms to help you drive and create more income for your business. Now let's talk about analyzing your marketing strategies. It's picture time. Take a picture of that, everybody, while I sip my coffee. Okay, what are we looking at here? When you're analyzing your marketing, and I'll go clockwise from top going to the right, there's a myriad of different ways that you can get the word out there, that you can build, that you can drive more interest in your business internally and externally. So internal promotions to your existing guests. So analyzing them, what's working, what's not, how can we improve? Why is something working? How can we make that even better? Questions, questions, questions. Always be looking at what you're doing and how you can continue to elevate it. Don't be emotional. Most of us just throw something up on the wall, and if it doesn't work, we say, oh, I'm not going to do that again. We get emotional because it didn't work. We feel like we had failed, right? So I want you, that's our humanity, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, your business doesn't care how you feel. Your business needs you to be throwing as many different approaches as you can, and watching and looking at what's working and why, and engaging critically so that you can get better at what you're doing. Engaging from a social media perspective, I just gave a little example of that when we were talking about your marketing budget. Doing strategic discounting, quick hit, in and out stuff, not always discounting. I'm not really a discount guy, but sometimes it makes sense to entice somebody to do something. For example, you do a referral promotion and you're willing to invest a little bit more into that for the guest. because they're going to send you people. Okay, well, I'll give somebody a complimentary treatment. I'll give somebody half off of a treatment. So, okay, well, a treatment's $200 and I'm going to give them half off. $100 off. But when that person sends me three people and I retain one of them who's coming in 8 times a year at $200, well, that's $1,600, and they're staying with me over 5 years. Well, that's close to 7 grand. Was that $100 investment worth it? Absolutely. And notice my languaging, investment, right? So sometimes discounting strategically for short bursts makes a lot of sense, right? Just don't do it continually because then people will see you as a discount brand. Knowing your demographics and more importantly, your psychographics. So, what's that? Well, let's start with what your demographics are. That's the average median household income in your area, the average cost of a home in your area, the breakdown of ethnicities in your area, the breakdown of age in your area, male versus female, all of those things. Lots of softwares nowadays also will help you get data like this where you can see who your top customer is. Um, Most of the time in our industry in skincare, your loyal and regular client's going to be in their mid 30s, professional, most of the time. Um, but look at that stuff. And look in your area. You can go to your local Chamber of Commerce website to get your demographics. Now, what's psychographics? Psychographics is the thinking of your consumer in your area. What type of thinker are they? What type of spender are they? What type of car are they driving? What handbag is attached to the arm when they're walking in? We all know there's a Yves Saint Laurent, YSL, LV, Louis Vuitton, right? Those are the kind of purses walking in the door. So when you're looking at that shapes your branding messaging. And it also is critical that you look at who your end user is. Who is this client? What type of home do they live in? What type of career do they have? What type of car do they drive? All those things are important for you because it gets you out of your own way. We were having a conversation last week when I was in Long Island and I was teaching my 2-day finance workshop, helping a couple of businesses get financially organized, get those P&Ls industry specific, learn how to interpret your data, all that type of stuff. And as we were going through it, all the people that were there with me, they all were like, wow, well, you know what? I'm making buying decisions for my guests because I tell myself I can't afford something. So then I don't make a recommendation. So if you catch yourself doing that, it's time to eradicate that behavior and that thinking because you're not in business to make buying decisions for your guests. You're in business you have a commodity. Your commodity is the treatments that you provide. Your commodity is the experience in the aesthetic and the environment that you've created. And you're there to educate. They are there to choose. You're not there to choose for anybody. So notice any barriers in your thinking that is not connected to the psychographics of the people that are coming in and that you want more of coming into you. And shift out of your thinking and shift more into their thinking. And how could I language what we're doing to the type of person that I know I'm committed to help in my community? That's the importance of understanding your demographics and psychographics. Your referral engine, I kind of wordsmithed the referral program a moment ago, but continuing to get your loyal guests to send you people that they love and that they know are like-minded and like-hearted. And then looking at when at least every 90 days, you should be doing something from an internal and external point of view. Internal events obviously are promoting to your existing guests. One thing I will say about that, everybody, is that if you are promoting to your existing guests, anything you do with them, especially if it's an event, they should always be incentivized to bring a friend who's never come into your spa before. So that as they come into your spa and they try you out, then they can be incentivized to book an appointment. So if I bring a friend to you, I should be able to get something. And if that friend books an appointment, I get a little bit more. So incentivize me to bring my friends to you. Every single event you do, that should always be something that you're a part of. If you're doing external events, how can you position yourself in a way that really makes a meaningful impact for that event, whether it's like a wine walk in your neighborhood or there's a charitable thing that you're a part of? Giving back is critical, but also giving through education and enlightening people on who you are and what you do. Mission critical. Now let's get to the plan and execution phase. So one thing I see most businesses don't do is we're not thinking ahead. We're usually reacting to what's going on around us and emotionally and impetuously just throwing marketing promotions up with very little planning, being reactive and hoping it works. And then again, if it doesn't, we're upset about it and we choose to never do that again, as opposed to looking at it critically and seeking to understand why it works so we can do it again, or why it didn't work the way we wanted it to, and what was the missing we can add. That's how you must think. You guys, you're just listening to my language. I'm just repeating that over and over and over throughout all of the way. I mean, I'm always talking about this when I'm training. It doesn't matter the subject matter. Get out of your own way and be analytical. Rise up, have a 38,000 square foot view, and look at what's going on so that you can solve the puzzle better next time. I want you to be out ahead in your thinking and in your planning, creating 3, 6, 9, 12 months of promotions ahead. Doesn't mean that you don't edit it because maybe something's going on and you need to pivot out of a promotion you thought you were going to do in July and do something else. But be planned out to July right now, at the very least. What promotions are you going to run based on what the business is saying you need? New client acquisition, driving higher end treatments, for example, if that's a focus in your business. You're scaling your business, you're hiring estheticians, you're bringing people in, you're adding lash or whatever you're doing, whatever, right? Like, but what's going on in the business that's going to impact your promotional planning as you move forward? What events are coming up in the next 90 to 120 days that you need to be a part of? How can you advertise and get the word out based on where your business is at right now and what you need to do to drive it? Continuing to focus on that referral platform always in your marketing, and then looking at what's going on seasonally as well. So it's not just what your business needs, it's also what season that you're moving into and what treatments are important in the season. We're now pivoting and we're in spring. Although, I mean, I was out in Chicago and New York and Toronto the last 12 days and I didn't see spring anywhere. My goodness. Came back here to California, it was 87 degrees. It's beautiful here today. Anyways, just saying. Um, you know, what season are we in? What season are we going into? What treatments are important for the type of season that we're moving into? What type of at-home care is going to help somebody's skin as we move into that season? What's going on in our community that we need to be a part of? And, also think about, what is going to serve my consumer and what are they thinking about in the next few months that I can position my marketing calendar. Either way, I want you to be out ahead. Anybody that I coach has to submit a marketing. I have a marketing calendar template and they fill out the template and they begin to plan ahead. I start with, let's go 1 month ahead. Then we go 3 months ahead and so on. But in that marketing template, it's the whole, what, why, who, what, why, where, how stuff. Like, what's the promotion? What's the image of it? Like, what's the imagery? Why are we doing it? So I need a description. Like, why? Who is it for? Who's involved? Is it a technician driven promotion? Is it a front desk promotion if you have front desk associates? So who's involved? How much are we going to spend to get it off the ground? What resources will we need? What's the actual goal? If you don't set an actual goal to any of your marketing promotions, then you don't have specificity. So the more specific you get in your planning and goal setting, the more you increase the chances of execution, everybody. And then tracking the heck out of your marketing, very, very critical. When you're working on your marketing, the visual experience is super important. So the image has to reflect your vision. Simple, colorful, eye-catching. Decorate your whole business. So if you're putting an ad out there, I want to see it on social media. It's then gonna, and if it's a paid ad and I'm a new consumer, so I click on it and I actually give you a try. When I come into the business, I should see the same ad. It should be in your waiting area. Or if you work in a suite and you're on your own, I should still see it on a little, like a little mantle somewhere or on a counter, next to the treatment bed, but decorate your whole business with it. If you're more brick and mortar and you own a business and you have, 4 or 5 rooms in there, or 2 or 3 rooms, so maybe you have a little waiting area. I want to see that same, like, I want to see a little table tent or shelf talker, kind of like when you go into a restaurant and they have happy hour and they have a little table tent, or they're doing promotions, something seasonal. They have it sitting up there on the desk, or on the table. That's what I'm talking about. So you should have that all in your business, in the restroom as well. Maybe you don't have place for a table tent, but you can frame and you can print it and put it there, and always frame it. And take the time to use imagery that really speaks to and evokes the message. If you just print something in paper and black ink, 10% off X, and you tape it up somewhere, that just looks like a rush job that you slap together. And it doesn't match and reflect the vision. So simple, eye-catching. Visually, the wording in your ad must be simple and clear. Less is more, everybody. So for example, I'm going to give you guys a fun one here. And again, you can come back to the recording. We're about 50 minutes in when I'm speaking about this. So you can fast forward to this. One of the promotions I do a couple times a year for my guests, or for my clients, because it's fun, is called Roll the Dice and Win. So rebook and roll the dice for retail savings. That's the languaging that you put on the ad. Rebook and roll the dice for retail savings today. You can add the word today if you want, or just rebook and roll the dice for retail savings. So what is it? You go out and you buy a bunch of dice, put them in a bowl somewhere. If you have the room, I've had people go out and get the big blow up dice, and people roll in 2 blow up dice. Fun. But either way, decorate your business with, little fuzzy dice kind of hanging around, whatever. And how it works is, when I rebook, I get to roll 2 dice. Whatever I land on, that's my discount on retail that day. Because what are 2 things that drive retention? Rebooking and purchasing at-home care. When your guests are doing those 2 things, you're driving more retention and creating more cash flow in your business in the future. So this is a super fun, engaging, immersive way for you and your guests, if you work individually or if you have a team, for everybody to have some fun, right? You should be rebooking and educating your guests on why that's critical. And you should also be ensuring that they leave with at-home care so that they're maintaining what you've done for them. This is a fun way to drive both. Now, one thing I'll say is this: track it so you can see who's rolling the dice and what they rolled and what the discount was. So track that. Number 2, what you also want to do is, if somebody rolls like under a 5%, let them roll 1 more dice just to add a little bit more on. I mean, imagine they roll a snake eyes. I mean, who just wants 2% off retail? That's not going to be fun, right? So have fun with it. The whole point is to engage the guests in something immersive and visual. Yeah, but going back to the clear and simple part of the wording in the ad, rebook and roll the dice for retail savings. Really simple, to the point. Get imagery of some dice, and put it up there, in a table tent or a shelf talker. Have fun with it, you guys. That's a good idea for everybody. Engage it, create, have fun with that, and drive retention with your guests. Incentives. If you do have a team, have the team create the incentives. If you're the one always coming up with all the ideas, well, maybe the team will buy in, maybe they won't. But if you do have a team, have the team come up with what they would like, and be budget conscious, obviously. But people get involved in what they help to create. Once you launch the promotion, make it a big deal. Share the successes. So if somebody, got 4 guests today to roll the dice, make a big deal out of it. If you're hearing somebody ask the guests if they'd like to rebook and roll the dice, and even if the guest said no, make a big deal out of it because the team member actually tried, right? So enforce that positive behavior. Be the biggest cheerleader and coach as needed. And then team and individual incentives. Anytime you're going to launch a promotion that the team is involved in, create an overarching team goal for the 4 to 6 weeks that you're running that promotion, but also have a weekly individual incentive, like a $10, $15 Starbucks card or something like that, right? So why that's important is, let's say that Wendy's on my team and I've got 3 other estheticians and Wendy's just kicking butt and taking names, making it happen. So because Wendy's doing 80% of what we're producing with the promotion, the team goal is hit. So that at the end of the month, everybody's partaking in the team goal, and there's Wendy being upset. Well, I was 80% of this. I did most of the work, and everybody's riding on my coattails. Now Wendy's potentially is going to be upset with that. So by having a weekly smaller incentive for Wendy, then it incentivizes her to keep going, and she gets the smaller incentive. And I'm making a bigger deal about that, which is then going to potentially drive other people to get competitive and get the juices flowing. So team and individual incentives really make a big difference. For those of you that work on your own and but are going to scale in the future, I'm giving you a lot of future-based juice here, a lot of good stuff that you can really use to help you grow into your future. So if you do have a team, or even if it's just you and your distributor, right? Reaching out to Alexander's Aesthetics and say, hey, I'm going to do a promotion. It's going to impact my purchasing. This is what I'm doing. What are your ideas? These are my targets. All of the people that work in this great organization are totally committed to help you kick the can around, come up with ideas, and are going to cheer you on. If you do have people that work with you, at least a week before launching, have a quick meeting, give them the intention and context. You must be the energy and enthusiasm, or they're never going to get fired up about it. Set your targets, create the scripts, and practice before you launch anything. So everybody is wordsmithing everything. Everybody's on the same page. So if we're putting an ad out there and that's bringing people to call us or engage us or walk in, then everybody's ready to meet that moment. We're all saying the same thing. We all have the same approach. We're all fired up. Uniformity is critical in execution. And then tracking. Have goals for the business. Have goals individually drilled down for the team in your marketing, and then track those results daily, weekly, and monthly. Be that cheerleader, post the results for everybody to see, keep everybody on track, and create accountability, right? Let's say Wendy's doing amazing. Find out why and how can she embody that and help you cheerlead with everybody else. Let's say C is kind of struggling with it. What's the missing? Let me go in and reinforce and coach and help. It's critical for those of you that have a team that that's what you do in marketing execution, that you're constantly being the voice. And that's why tracking helps you do that, because it keeps you present to what's occurring. So you can celebrate the victories and you can guide and support your team who might be struggling with it because maybe they're relating to it as another thing they have to say, or they're just not confident in talking about those things. What's the missing that you can coach them through to shift the thinking so that you produce the results? So I'm now coming to the point where I'm going to engage you guys, and I'm going to come to the chat. And here's what I would love. I would love for you guys to just jump in here and tell me that I just spent the last hour of my life in a meaningful way for you. So I want you to, first of all, acknowledge if this was valuable for you. So if this was valuable, please go into the chat and type in that this was valuable for you. what you got out of it. I want to see some messaging from you guys. And if there's any questions, while I'm doing that, while you're typing to me, if you can do this for me, Wendy, if you can type in how people can get a hold of me. So my Instagram handle is at
Sure.
Salon Coach SJG. It's at Salon Coach SJG at SalonCoach SJG. Those are my initials. Salon Coach SJG. My website, www.stephengomez.net, STEPHENGOMEZ.net. My email is, I'll give you both, info at stephengomez.net, STEPHENGOMEZ.net, and then STPHNGOMEZ at Yahoo. So that's all of my information, everybody. Please connect with me. If you dug the message today, and if you feel that there's a way that I can support you, I'm here to help. That's what my commitment, that's what my passion is. Let me see here. Very rebook, roll the dice, retail savings. Very informative. Thank you. 2% marketing budget is great. Thank you for that, everybody. Thank you. Really great start to the week. Loved the, hold on here. Loved the fun roll the dice idea. Yes, very valuable. The budget info is helpful. Good actionable information helps me navigate the process. Thank you for that, Tanya. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for giving me that. If you have questions, and maybe you can't think of some, but as you reflect today, tomorrow, this week, email me some questions. Please do that so I can be of support. I just want to be a face on a screen teaching for an hour every 2, 3 months or once a month or whatever. I'm here to help. The ability for you to be thinking critically about your business always is where you need to be. As an owner, if you're spending 90% of your time doing treatments, your business owns you, not you it. You have to give your business more time and attention. You did that today. So as we jump off of this and as we wrap up in the next few minutes, I really want you to reflect on what you got out of this and how you need to pivot your business in this important time period that we're all navigating through. How can you meet the moment and step up and bring that message of who you are as a healer, who you are as a safe place, who you are as a warm, relaxing environment, who you are as an educator and expert. That's your brand. That's the message. That's what you must do to meet this moment. Anything less than that, then you're allowing outside influences to dictate your results. Again, it's important to know what's going on outside our four walls, but our business doesn't care about that. Our business needs us focusing on what's going on inside our four walls, and strengthening your brand message is critical. Again, if you did not watch the first webinar, Wendy will tell you where you can go watch that. You can come back and watch this recording again so it continues to embed. And in the months ahead, we're going to have more of these webinars. Wendy C and I will manage our schedules and announce, because I'm taking off at the end of the week and I'll be in Europe for the next 3 weeks. So I'm not back until mid-May. So something around mid to end of May, and I'm going to begin to teach finance and really start getting into more numbers driven, data driven, financial organizational driven things to help you really grow. But if you don't want to wait for that, and if you feel that I can help you, reach out to me, you guys. I'm here to jam with you. I'm here to serve you to grow your business. There's nothing more important than you giving your business the attention it needs because you chose to open a business. And the moment you open a business, your business is the most important customer that you have, and it needs your time and attention. And I'm going to leave you with that thought. I appreciate all of you. Always my honor to serve and facilitate and support our industry to grow. Stay connected to me. Stay connected to Alexander's Aesthetics, the education that they provide, the quality products, the quality at-home care that they give you is absolutely mission critical for you to continue to help grow your business. Stay connected with these amazing people and keep growing your business. Back to you, Wendy.
Thank you, Steve. That was super valuable. Um, there was a question that came through. How do I access a previous webinar from Shamima? So I'm glad she brought that up because what I wrote down for myself is when I follow up with this recording, I will also include a link to the previous recording as well. So I'll include both of those in the follow-up email. If you have
Perfect.
time for a question, we actually have a facial sculpting class going on right now outside my other wall over here. There's 8 estheticians in here learning the art
Yay.
of sculpting, and they're passing me notes on questions to ask you.
Wait, were they doing both things?
No, I just talked to them this morning and said I'm going to be in the back on the webinar,
Oh, that's
and
funny.
I
All
know.
right, go for it.
So I just had to point that out. Um, what are your thoughts on loyalty plans?
I love customer loyalty as a way of driving retention and
Okay.
even getting new guests to come in. Think about Sephora. All of you on here have been in a Sephora, and when you walk through the little turnstile to get to pay, they have all those little quick hit, little small products that you can buy, impulse buys, super smart. And then when you get to the front and you're next in line, usually at the register, in a box that you can't touch is that month's uh, special free gift that you get if you're top person, if you're like Rouge. I think Rouge is their top in their loyalty program, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. There you are in line buying something that you needed from Sephora, and you see this thing that's inside of a box that's now you're interested in, but you can't touch it because you're not Rouge. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are they enticing you to do with that visual representation? Sign up for the loyalty program. And the more you spend, the more you're incentivized. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
I'm real big into loyalty programs. Um, I like point programs because then you
Mm-hmm.
can play with point thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
For every dollar in treatment that you do, that's a point. For every $2 in at-home care that I buy from you, that's 2 points, right? So that's a 2 for 1. If I rebook, I get points. If I send a friend, I get points. On my
Mm-hmm.
birthday month, I get something special. On my anniversary with you, I get something special. So yeah, go for that. Most point of sale systems out there have built-in loyalty programs that you can use right through the software. And again, those of you, I had mentioned my friends at Forest. So those of you that are interested in finding out about them, send me a direct email. I'll do a direct introduction.
How do you spell that
My
again? Was it PH?
Phorest,
Okay.
Forest. You can go on by yourself, but you'll be put into their queue and you'll be talking to somebody. But I can make a direct recommendation to their VP of sales in North America, and I partner with them and I do a lot of education with them. So I can get you directly connected to them. So email me if you're interested in talking to them. They have a great loyalty program. They're building a membership program. I'm actually on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. They're based out of Ireland, and I'll be talking to them over there about their membership program that they're launching. They're always innovating. So, anyways, yeah,
Great.
totally be doing those types of things. Loyalty
Awesome.
programs are great.
Great. Wonderful. One last question. What about punch cards?
I don't mind punch cards at all either because that
Okay.
incentivizes. Again, I mean, all these little strategies are great.
Okay.
I don't think that that's a problem. All right. We're having an earthquake right now.
Oh,
Hey.
oh, hello.
Okay. Yeah. Just felt that. And at least my phone notified me that I was right. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Wow.
Anyways, well, we have them every day. It's just a matter of the size of them.
Yeah.
Let me get the coffee cup down on the floor.
Yeah. The shelf
All right.
behind you is
Yeah.
stable.
Yeah, everything's good. Okay, so I don't mind punch cards either because again, it reinforces guests to come back. It reinforces purchasing relevant at-home care,
Okay.
relevant. Or if the punch card is based on treatments, after I do 10 treatments, I get a complimentary treatment, right?
Okay.
So doing things like that, whether it's treatment based or whether it's retail based, totally cool with that.
Okay. Great. Thank you. That was
You're
about it I
welcome.
had here.
Cool.
All
So
right.
thanks again, everybody. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you soon.
Yes.
And when you see me next, we're going to dig into financial data and tracking and I'm going to get you immersive in there. I'm going to shift your thinking around it. There's a lot of stigma around financial tracking and the complex. It's complex and this and that. And I'm going to break it down in a safe, simple, and meaningful way. That's coming mid-May-ish. We'll look at some dates, if not June, and make that happen. Can't wait for that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great,
Thank
great week.
you.
Please reach out to me as you need. I'm here to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Steve.
You got it.
All right,
Thank
everybody.
you. You're
You're welcome.
welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.